Hello guys, so this is going to be our second video on our ERD diagram that we were actually continuing. So we're going to start from where we left off. So today we are going to be focusing on um, building out the major ERD components. There are going to be the major, like most used components, I would say, in the whole system. That is to like storing, having an entity to store the tunnel APIs. Tunnel APIs actually mean those Docker A models that you deployed. You want to store um, those APIs into our database. So this is how we're going to do. And then also to store our like pre-configured template. For example, if you have a pre-configured template of your model and you want to deploy without anything like you want to specify the things again and again, you can just save a template into our database so you can actually just deploy from there rather than inputting the information again and again. And then we have the image as well. Image part is going to be, for example, if you want to cache the Docker images into the database and also into the system so you can easily like just deploy that image rather than pulling the image again and again. You can actually use the image configuration image entity to store those images. So it will also display a number of things like, for example, if the image has been pulled or not, and all of this stuff can be also shown from this image entity as well. So we will have these kind of three entities, the major entities. So let's go deep into these entities. So let's start with the tunnel APIs. So tunnel APIs has like the same thing, the user ID that is which user actually like deployed that particular tunnel or that A model. And then we have the model ID. Like for example, if you have saved that model in a pre-configured template, you can actually it would be automatically like specified with the model ID for reference. But if you have like if you haven't stored that template, you can actually deploy that model directly as well. So that is why I have like configured this as nullable. But then we have NAS server ID. NAS server ID, if you have like deployed that AI model in a specific shared volume, so we can use that as well. For NAS server, you can also name it as shared volume ID, whatever you want to say. That's just for referencing, like if this has been linked to any of the shared volume or not. And then we have the parent system ID to which particular system it has been deployed to, and the name of the for example, if you want to make a custom name for that more AI deployed model, so you can actually just rewrite the name here to easily specify for your customers or something else. Then we have the container address. Container address is going to be eventually like a pre-configured like Docker actually provides you a couple of options. Like if you want to like specify the container address or the container name for your container, you can actually do that by through parameter as well. So that is why you can actually like specify your own custom name, or Docker can actually make its own container address as well. So we can actually store like the user defined container address or or the generated or the automatically generated container address by the Docker itself. And then we have the image address. We have set this as nullable because there is a possibility we can have that image address because it really depends on the end of the day, the configuration or the implementation that we have set. So that is why I've set this as nullable because that is actually not much of a useful information as well. So that is why it has been configured as nullable. Then we have the is visible attribute. And that means like if you want to publicize that API for the general public, you can actually do that. But if you don't want the general public to see that API, you can actually just set it as false as well. So it would not be available on our platform as well if you want to. Then we have the open ports, like which ports has this API been like exposed to, for example, 3754, 3755, like all of these kind of ports that you want to uh, expose these APIs. And then I hope this internal APIs entity has been properly explained. And then we move to the model. That is actually that is actually the template where we actually configure our AI model configuration. That is not deployed. The model entity is about models that are not, that is like, for example, is it just a template that you can just deploy the template. So in itself, it's just going to be a data. It's not actually being using any kind of like GPU, RAM or something. It's just a pre-configured set of like configuration that you just deploy on runtime. So that is what model means. So we have the credentials. If the Docker has some username and password attached to it, you can actually store the username and password. And then we have the category ID. The category ID means like which category it belongs to. You can actually like specify the number of category, for example, like image to image, text to image, whatever kind of category that you want to set, right? Then we have the user ID, which user actually like made the template, and then we have the name of the template, image name, like which is the image name actually means the actual name of the image, like that image is actually, for example, defined in the Docker Hub as well. For example, let's say Ikan Ahmed Stable Diffusion API, but for example, let's say Ikan slash STXL, for example. This is going to be the image name or something that is actually deployed on Docker Hub. Then we have the thumbnail. You can actually just upload a thumbnail as well. It's available, so it's optional for you. And then we have the description. Then we have the expose ports. We can actually define the expose port which we want to expose. Then we have the author URL, who's actually the author of this model or image. And then we have the Docker image URL and Docker image URL, the actual image URL of the where the Docker like image is hosted. Visibility, whether you want to like make it visible or not for the general public. Minimum VRAM, how much VRAM do you want this to occupy when it's deployed? Volume disk, volume mount path, what volume mount path do you want for this Docker container to be when it's deployed? Container disk, environment variables, these are optional, it's nullable, is bookmarked, is liked, readme and notes. These are just for like for for the platform front end sake. If you want to like bookmark or like these um like a model as well, so you have that like attribute there in the database as well, right? And let's just define another entity that I think so we have missed so far. That is the credentials table. Let me just write this down as well. Let me just grab this. 1 minute. And we have the credentials there. In the credentials, what we're going to do is we're just going to store the username and password. That is the only thing we are going to store. So the next entity that we have is the image entity. Image entity is going to be, as I said before, is going to be all about like storing the Docker images itself. Then we can actually like deploy those images as container, because we don't want to pull an image again and again, because it's going to affect a lot of the network performance as well in our systems. So that is why we want to cache those images when we have them and store those images in our shared volume, so every system can just pick those images up if they are available, and we can just go from there. So we have the image, we have the user ID here, which user has actually like pulled the image, and image name, the name of the actual image. We can actually like store some information as well if we need to, for the sake of like debugging. And then we have the status of the image as well, if like what status is actually regarding the image. Let me just write this down. Just remove it. Let me just also like rename this to match with the enum. Yeah, let me just copy this. So we can actually store the status of the image, whether the image has been pulled or not pulled, or it's being pulled right now, because it's going to be very essential because we know actually the actual status of the image. So we don't actually perform any functionality in between when the image is being pulled. And then we have these two attributes as well, like the created and updated, whether the image has been uh, when the image has been created and when it's updated. For example, if we want to refresh the image, we can actually just refresh the image as well. We have the nodes as well. So this is going to be our three main entities, I would say. Channel APIs are going to be about deployed APIs, the image, like models that have been deployed on a system. Model is going to be all about like the templates, the data, the predefined settings that we want to deploy for the AI model. And the image is going to be just about the image to cache those images in our system and to store those statuses, whether the image has been pulled or not, or whether it's being pulled, being in the pulling stage. So hopefully, this will help regarding understanding the more of the infrastructure as we go deep. And hopefully, our next video would be the final video regarding our ERD diagram, where we will discuss about the payment system and all of the stuff that is being rendered there. So hopefully, guys, do let me know if you have any suggestions regarding this video. Any suggestion whether how I can improve these videos further. And if you like the video, do subscribe and like to my channel as well. So see you guys in the next video. Take care, guys. Bye.